Om Shri Sadgurave Namaha. Hello, viewers. Jai Guru. Tomorrow is the 20th December, that is the 104th incarnation day of Maharshi Santsevi Paramhans, who was one of the most eminent disciples of Sant Sadguru Maharshi Mehi Paramhans Ji Maharaj and his successor also at Kuppaghat Ashram, Bhagalpur. As a special presentation on the eve of his pious incarnation day, I am going to read a short biography of Maharshi Santsevi Paramhans Ji Maharaj, which I had penned a few years ago. Maharshi Santsevi Paramhans was a sant in the Santmat tradition belonging to Sant Tulsi Sahab, Baba Devi Sahab, Maharshi Mehi Paramhans lineage. He was the chief disciple and successor of Maharshi Mehi Paramhans, taking over the reins of Santmat in 1986 after Maharshi Mehi Paramhans departed this material plane. Maharshi Santsevi Paramhans today is a name adored, revered, loved by millions in India as well as abroad. Learning from and walking into the footsteps of his Guru, Maharshi Mehi Paramhans, he shone the way so brilliantly to self-emancipation. He served his Guru with such an intense devotion, unquestioning obedience, and total surrender, and cast himself so completely in his Guru's mold that he turned out to be his mirror image, his very reflection. He proved himself to be a worthy successor of a worthy Guru, taking Santmat to the dizziest of heights across the globe. His modest disposition, magnetic persona, sweet, charming voice, flawless pronunciation, captivatingly melodious rendition of devotional mystic hymns, captivating scholarly discourses punctuated with prolific quotations from the scriptures and sayings of saints, and above all, his living in absolute conformity with his preaching cast a magical spell on whoever came in his contact, illiterate and scholarly, rich and poor alike. No wonder then that more than 2.2 million persons from India and abroad made their lives blessed by getting initiation from him. Such was his love for Santmat that even on the fateful day of his departure, he had initiated two fortunate ladies. Early life. Maharshi Santsevi Paramhans was born as the third son of his parents on the 20th December 1920 in the Gamharia village of the current Madhepura district of the state of Bihar, India. His childhood name was Mahavir Das. He had three brothers and a sister. His father, Mr. Baldev Das ji, was a farmer by profession, while his mother, Mrs. Radha Devi, was a deeply devout lady. Mahavir Das ji was a very sharp and obedient student. He always stood either first or second in his class. He was a staunch devotee of Lord Hanuman in his childhood. However, the premature death of two of his brothers must have given him a strong, cruel jolt and made him realize the transitory nature of life on this earth. As if this was not enough, the sudden, untimely passing away of his father threw his life into complete disarray, forcing him to discontinue his formal studies. He could complete his formal education up to class 8 only. To support his family, he had to take to private tuition. He taught students of his locality with full faith in his sharp intellect and capabilities as a teacher. The parents had no hesitation whatsoever in handing over their wards to his sweet care. Meeting Guru. Once, as the fateful coincidence would have it, he had gone to Saidabad in the district of Purnia in Bihar. There, he came to know that at Kankhudia, a place quite nearby, a month-long meditation camp was to be organized, which was to be graced by Maharshi Mehi Paramhans Ji Maharaj. The seed of devotion that lay dormant within him began to stir, growing impatient to burst forth. He became restless to have glimpse, darshan of Maharshi Mehi and set out as if driven by an invisible force to see Maharshi Mehi ji. Sensing the genuinely acute thirst in him for spiritual pursuits, Maharshi Mehi gladly initiated him into Santmat by teaching him the processes of Manas Jap, that is, internally chanting the sacred mantra given by Guru, Manas Dhyan, that is, meditating upon the form of Guru within, and Drishti Yoga, meditation upon the infinitesimal absolute point or point within. That was in 1939. The Guru had found the true Shishya or disciple in him. Mahavir Das ji was so deeply influenced by Maharshi Mehi that he wished to be kept in his personal service, but the latter's clear and categorical reply was, continue for the time being with whatever you are doing. You will be called at the right time. The obvious hint of Maharshi Mehi, and he said so also to one of his disciples, was that Sant Sevi Ji's services were then more needed by his widow mother. Subsequently, when Santsevi Ji's mother left this world in 1946 for her heavenly abode, he was called by Gurudev Maharshi Mehi to live with him. Sant Sevi Ji would accompany, even when his mother was alive, his Guru Maharshi Mehi whenever the latter went on his mission of propagating Santmat. Maharshi Mehi would ask him to recite from scriptures and verses of sants. His chaste, melodious rendition of hymns and verses had a powerful, magical impact on the audience. Sant Seviji received fatherly love and affection from Gurudev Maharshi Mehi. He was deputed for a few years to manage affairs at the ashramas of Dharahara and Manihari in the state of Bihar itself. He was called back to Kuppaghat ashram in 1949 to live permanently with Gurudev Maharshi Mehi. He dedicated everything at his disposal to the selfless, ungrudging, wholehearted service of his Guru till the latter lived in his physical cloak on the earth. It is because of his exemplary service that Maharshi Mehi gave him the name Sant Sevi, that is, one who serves sants. Serving his Guru for 4 decades, 1946 to 1986, is a saga of service which is perhaps unmatched anywhere else in the Guru Shishya tradition of modern times. Guru Maharshi Mehi personally guided him into studying different scriptures and learning different languages, nurtured right virtues in him, and trained him into becoming a perfect, truly deserving heir to him. Maharshi Mehi himself voluntarily initiated him in view of his spiritual progress into Surat Shabd Yog or Nadanusandhan, that is, meditation on the inner sound, in 1952 and admitted him into monkhood by bestowing upon him the saffron robes and asking him to get his hair and beards removed. Maharshiji's confidence in Sant Seviji had grown so much that he sent him as his representative to the All India Conference of Sages held at Ahmedabad, Gujarat. Sant Seviji won the hearts of all the sages and scholars present at the conference by his lucid and detailed presentation, which was lauded by one and all. The extent of faith that Maharshi Mehi had in him could be gauged by the fact that he would frequently refer to Sant Seviji as his brain and gave clear approval to him to give discourses during Satsang from 1960. Sant Seviji's discourses began to be published as a regular column in the monthly spiritual magazine Shanti Sandesh, Message of Peace, published by Maharshi Mehi Ashram, Kuppaghat, Bhagalpur. From 1970 onwards, he was given independent authority to initiate seekers into Santmat. Entrusting him with these responsibilities, Gurudev Maharshi Mehi felt completely relieved that he had been able to finally find someone whose, in, into whose competent hands he could pass on his mission of propagating Santmat safely. People from all walks of life, all religions and sects would throng his residence or place of stay for seeking mental solace and useful guidance in worldly as well as spiritual matters. Several of Muslims, Sikhs, Buddhists, Jains, some of them being spiritual leaders in their own capacities, took initiation from him. His life thus serves as a role model to anyone and everyone who aspires to be a sincere spiritual seeker. Right now, you are seeing on the screen the hut which used to be his birthplace. There are numerous accounts of his devotees who were miraculously helped or rescued directly or indirectly at different points of their lives by him. I too so fondly cherish many of such unforgettable experiences in my own life, which have left a deep, indelible imprint on me. Great was he, and great was his grace. There were so many disciples of Maharshi Mehi, but the place he accorded to Maharshi Santsevi could be matched by none else, as would be self-evident by some of the remarks quoted below. He, that is Santsevi knows more than I. I remained a Zagari good while Santsevi grew to become sugar. Sugar is a refined processed product of good. You, Sant Seviji, have rendered remarkable service to me. Your service itself is your penance. The relationship between me and Sant Seviji is like that between English alphabets Q and U, implying that just as in all the English words starting from Q, Q and U always come together, Maharshi Mehi and Maharshi Santsevi always live and exist together and can never be separated. You, Santsevi cannot live without me, and I cannot live without you. I'll be wherever you are, and you will always be wherever I will be. Santsevi is my brain. During a satsang, Maharshi Santsevi had to temporarily leave the stage. When Maharshi Mehi quipped, Santsevi has left with some work. If anybody thinks here that he knows more than he, that is Santsevi or is more capable, he may come forward and sit in his place. A complete lull followed, and Maharshi Mehi concluded, I know this is not to be. Sadguru Maharshi Mehi had delegated the authority to initiate spiritual seekers to many of his eminent disciples, but he handed over his own register of initiation, in which he recorded the names and other details of the seekers who took initiation from him to Maharshi Santsevi alone. What better testimonials could a disciple want and have from his guru? He was a litterateur of the highest caliber. He was not only an orator par excellence, but also a prolific writer. He was a polyglot, having good knowledge of several languages and dialects such as Bharati, Sanskrit, English, Bengali, Marwari, Maithili, Angika, Nepali, Punjabi, Persian, etc. He has a number of books to his credits, such as Om Vivechan, that is analytical interpretation of Om, Yoga Mahatmya, significance of yoga, Jag mein aise rehna, thus to live in the world, Sukh Dukh, joys and sorrows, Satya kya, what is truth, Lok Parlok Upkari, to excel in this as well as the other world, Sadhana mein safalta kaise, the right art of meditation, Sarva Dharma Samabhav, Harmony of All Religions, a book which has been wonderfully translated into English by Mrs. Veena Howard, Santmat Society. Maharshi Mehi strove to establish that the holy Vedic scriptures were in complete conformity with the sayings of sants. Maharshi Santsevi took the thread ahead and through this book, Harmony of Religions, demonstrated quite clearly that there is consonance amongst the essential teachings of all the major religions of the world. Several of his articles were compiled in the form of a compendium titled Maharshi Santsevi Gyan Ganga and also Maharshi Santsevi Pravachan Piyush. In the course of his tours, he got to meet a number of eminent personalities. To name a few, Sri Bhupendranath Sanyal, Sri Jain Muni Dhanraj, Buddhist monk Jagdish Kashyap, Father Kamil Bulke, Sri Jayadayal Goyandka, Maharshi Mahesh Yogi, Swami Sri Ramsukh Das, Acharya Vinoba Bhave, Acharya Sushil Muni, Sri Pramukh Swami Ji, Swami Harinarayan, Mahapandit Rahul Sankratayan, Swami Satyanand, Sri Asharam Bapu, Sri Morari Bapu, Pandit Parashuram Chaturvedi, etc. This must have provided him ample opportunity to enrich his experience. He toured India widely to propagate the precepts of Santmat from Assam in the east to Ahmedabad, Gujarat, and Amritsar, Punjab in the west, and from Kashmir in the north to Tamil Nadu in the south. He addressed special conferences at Darbar Sahib of Amritsar, Dayal Bagh and Swami Bagh of Agra, Pushkar of Ajmer in Rajasthan, Rishikesh and Haridwar of the Himalayan state of Uttaranchal, Delhi, Rajgir, etc., and various other places in Uttar Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh, Delhi, Punjab, Haryana, Rajasthan, Gujarat, Maharashtra, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, West Bengal, etc. It was during one such conference, the 86th Annual General Convention of Santmat in the Himalayan town of Rishikesh, that he was conferred the highest spiritual title or honor of Maharshi Paramhans by the most eminent sages and Mahamandaleshwaras of the region. Since then, he came to be called Maharshi Santsevi Paramhans. Maharshi Santsevi Paramhans sacrificed his whole life, every moment of his life, for the welfare of the highest order of the people. He quietly discarded his earthly body around 9:45 p.m. Indian Standard Time or GMT 16:15 hours on the 4th June 2007. Through his great, though his great charismatic soul is now no more with us in his physical form, he will ever live, he will ever live on in the memories of his devotees the world over, and his words would continue to illumine the right path for millions and millions of people for generations to come. On this day, we remember and pay our heartfelt, most humblest obeisances to this great soul. Jai Guru.